Hello everyone, as you may already know, in this segment we are going to talk about making inferences. Making inferences means drawing conclusions by gathering information and combining it with what you already know. It is the thought process by which we reach a conclusion based on specific evidence. Inferences are used by detectives examining clues, doctors diagnosing diseases, and car mechanics repairing engine problems. We infer motives, purpose, and intentions. Inferences are essential to and part of being human. We engage in inference every day. We interpret actions to be examples of behavior characteristics, intents, or emotional expressions. We infer it is raining when we see someone with an open umbrella. We infer people are thirsty if they ask for a glass of water. Making sense of everyday utterances and text relies heavily on shared background knowledge, context, and learned scripts and schemas. It requires us to fill in the gaps based on what we already know and what we can perceive, thus leading us back to the topic of inferences. The following lesson is aimed towards middle-leveled adults. The goal is not to challenge them, but to define the skill, build interest in the topic, and show applicable uses. The end goal is that the students will be able to start using their skills in literary work. The lesson will be broken down into the following segments: warm-up, defining goals, example, activity, exercise, and cool-down. For the warm-up, students will watch the following video and try to answer the following questions. After watching the video, discuss your students' responses. For example, ask how would the character's reaction differ if he had different background knowledge. Then introduce the topic and learning goals. Next, you should examine an example of inference used through discourse. Make sure to focus on aspects such as context and background knowledge. For example, using the above dialogue, you can explain how the two speakers lack intrapersonal knowledge, but speaker 2 can instead use situational context to infer the meaning of speaker 1's response. The next step is for students to start developing and practicing their own inference skills. This can be done through a simple fun activity called the 3-clue game. Once all of the students are done writing, have them take turns presenting while other students try to infer an answer based on the clues given. Following the activity, you can pass out this worksheet for students to read. After reading, they should attempt to answer the following questions using their inference skills. Encourage the students to explain their thought process. What contextual clues and background knowledge allowed them to reach their conclusions. After you've completed and discussed the exercise, take a few minutes to talk with the class to gather feedback and answer questions. Use this opportunity to gauge their understanding and assign the worksheet you feel best complements their skill level. As mentioned earlier, this lesson works as a stepping stone to developing our students' inference skills. Specifically for reading comprehension, these skills must be built up before jumping into inference making. In future lessons, the teacher can start adding more connections to discourse knowledge, such as metaphor usage, to allow students to build upon their inference skills. With continued practice, students will be able to increase their knowledge of diverse schemas and scripts, as well as be able to fill in the gaps in their readings more effectively. This will allow for a stronger understanding of the reading materials and increased awareness of an author's purpose. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day.